Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. It's time for Pet Parade. There we go. This little girl is Ellie. She's a rescue. She's very pretty. She's a very pretty girl. She's just turned 2. And she's been with us since last summer. Go back to sleep. We woke her up from her nap. She's a little annoyed. Come here, little fella. Gaffer. There you go. His name is Atticus. He is also a rescue. He has a bit of a gimped up foot, and so he's also sort of one of our 3-legged dogs. We also got him last summer, and I said, look, it's really cute. Sometimes you can see it better than other times. But he actually has a heart on the back part of his body. That's his favorite position right there. But he's very, very sweet. He's also very skittish and quite shy. But he's doing very good. He likes all of his feathers. All right, let's try not to wreck the microphone. Down you get. Okay, this is Mr. Skittles. Him and his sister are, I think, 12, possibly 13. They've been with us since they were puppies. They're both yappy. They're both cute. And they're both little snuggle bugs. So if you're looking for a hug in this house, it's to the puppies we go. And as you can see, it's an exhausting job for them. Just exhausting. Okay, so that's Skittles. And here comes his sister, Tika. Oh, okay. There you go. You want to say hi? You want to say hi? No? There you go. Yeah. It's so cute. Okay, so that's Tika and Skittles, the puppies. You've seen Ellie and Atticus. Here comes the rock star. Come here, handsome. Oh, yeah. I also woke him up. I don't think he's that thrilled with me either. Do you want to say hi to all of your, adoring fans? Yeah? For those of you who don't know, Jerry is 5 or 6. He is a 3-legged, part Maine Coon rescue. He is adorable. And just for the record, he wants everybody to know that even though he's a very long cat and a very big cat, he actually weighs less than any other animal in this house. He's just incredibly skinny once you get past all of it. Just want people to know that, he likes doing his little camera thing. All right, now the last one is Crystal. Now, oopsie, there we go. Okay. Okay, so this is my daughter, Vanessa. Crystal is her cat. Simple. Crystal only likes her. Crystal is, we think, 16. Her health is getting a little shaky, and so we wanted to specifically include her in this one because honestly, we're not really sure if she's going to be around for the fall pet parade. But for all of the growling and grumping, she really has been an amazing companion. And she is only happy if she's attached to my daughter. Sometimes part of the grouchy is, she's just getting older and she's sore. I mean, she has spots that are not all that comfortable. So I hope you enjoyed the little mini pet parade. This was the summer version, I guess. So this is a bonus video. I'm recording this on Friday afternoon because I had been asked to do a trajectory on other countries besides the United States. And so I thought today we would take a look at Canada, the UK, and Australia. And we're going to do sort of 3 quick little mini readings on that. And I think at the end, we're going to just take a quick peek and see how Trump or the White House, how his re-election campaign, how they're doing. because, you know, that was some bad news he got yesterday. And the New Hampshire rally today has been canceled due to bad weather. For those of you on the eastern seaboard, stay safe. It seems to me that your hurricane season is starting really early, so make sure you stay safe. So here we go. I thought we would just do little mini trajectories. I hope you'll find that interesting. If you are seeing this video first, please look for the video that was released earlier today called Rats Jumping Ship. I guess you don't need to know who that's about, eh? All right. One more quick shuffle and then come on down. I have a question. Oopsie. Okay. So we're going to start with Canada first, just because, you know, I'm Canadian. So I think that's probably a good thing. Okay, so here we go. Canada general trajectory. Canada general trajectory. Canada general trajectory. Okay. So what this is saying is a few things. So Canada responded quickly and efficiently to the coronavirus, and they shut things down in a way that allowed at least parts of the economy to carry forward. And there was, you know, interesting logic about that. I heard DeSantis saying, well, you know, if we can get Home Depots open, I don't know why kids can't go to school. And we're not even going to like go on about how stupid that statement was. But in Canada, during the whole COVID thing, actually Home Depot was opened because, and very, you know, restrictive, kind of like Walmart with the shields and the, you know, spacing and the limited number of people. But because the logic was, you know what, if something happens in somebody's house, you know, maybe they have a plumbing problem or something, they need to be able to get somewhere to actually purchase the stuff to correct the problem, because not going to be so easy probably to find a plumber that's just going to rush right over. So there was that kind of logic. Same thing with like places that service cars. They, of course, were open because if your vehicle dies or you're having a problem with it, it's kind of important that you keep on keeping on. There was a great deal of emphasis, for example, on skip the dishes. So there was a lot of, you know, contacting restaurants, ordering and having it delivered, or, you know, you could pick it up. So there was a lot of that kind of stuff going on. And so what that did was it really, even though things were shut down and we were taking it very seriously, there was at least a tiny little bit of normalcy. Any food store, of course, was opened. You know, so in a way, the way it was done actually ended up being very helpful. And what it did was it set Canada on a road where, you know, they were able to get things under control and move forward from there. And that's kind of where Canada is sitting right now. There were decisions that were made, and some of them were really hard decisions because some of them had to do with sort of tapping into people's emotions, tapping into people's sense of right and wrong, trying to create an environment where, you know, kind of everybody felt that we were in this together. Now, I don't get local news from UK or Australia, so I can't say whether those countries did or did not do this. But certainly in Canada, for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, Trudeau did that sort of morning, you know, press conference. And invariably, he started with some version of, you know, Canadians, you're amazing. You're following the protocols. We are so grateful for the sacrifices you are making. We know this is hard. And because we know this is hard, we're going to set up extra funding for mental health issues. We're going to send out extra checks or bigger checks for people who have lost their jobs. We're going to send out money for seniors and people who are on disability. In addition, so what they did was to some degree, they just minimized some of the financial difficulties and stressors. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of worry in this country. There's people who have lost their jobs. They don't know if they're going to get them back. It's not like we're sitting in a garden of roses, but there is definitely that sense that it is under control for now. And we're slowly moving forward towards trying to find out what new normal looks like. The government overall has done a relatively good job doing what they have to do. There's always going to be frictions when you have a 2 or 3 party system. But for the most part, the provinces came together and they worked in absolute lockstep with the federal guidelines, requests, etc. So it was a very smooth thing. Now, we're not out of the woods. There are going to be lessons that we learned that have proved valuable, and when the next surge comes, because it will, we have some tools in our toolkit now, perhaps that we didn't have earlier, or some additional wisdom or guidance. And ultimately, while the country has not done brilliantly, for the most part, people are feeling relatively safe, fairly secure, and as if things are going to get better and move forward in a, I guess in a way that is just acceptable. We can, move forward from that. So again, a lot of burdens, but there is sort of, as we go day by day, there is good news. I mean, for days and days and days and days, our number of new cases federally across the country has been hovering at just under 300, just above it. It's right in that range. So 33 million people, that's not a bad thing. I think it was just over maybe 95,000 people infected overall. But Canada, again, and I'm sure other countries do this because it's really helpful, they also let you know how many people have recovered. And so we're sitting at, 70 or 72% of those 90 plus who have already recovered, and, they're kind of like, relatively good to go, I guess. So for right now, it looks like Canada has handled it. And that, we took some of the knocks. There's been a lot of assessing. There's going to be more going forward because we understand as a country, as I'm sure others do, that if you don't come together and pull together with this thing, we are all going to end up kind of, stabbed in the back. And so there is that sense of coming together and moving forward with strength. So as far as Canada goes, I'm going to flip. Yeah, there's just not a lot here, right? They're saying the retreat was helpful. The retreat brought good news. It brought good things to the surface. And that, we are prepared as a country for new starts moving forward. Now, I have been asked about Trudeau winning the next election. So honestly, the short answer there is it's really far from now. I think the next election is something like 3 years from now, maybe somewhere around there, because I thought the federal election was last year in the fall. So there's a ways to go. And, whether you like Trudeau or you don't like Trudeau, they really have done a very good job of reacting quickly and as efficiently as possible, right? I mean, the distilleries just jumped right into making hand sanitizer. The if I'm not mistaken, a significant amount of the PPE in Canada is made in Canada now. So, they did good. Hopefully, Canada as a country is going to be able to do good the next round of it. Okay, so where was I? Trudeau, I don't know if he's going to win the next election. There's some pretty long, hilly roads for him to go through yet in terms of not only the coronavirus, but actually trying to show the country how we're going to completely recover our economy, perk up our healthcare systems, shore up the standards and regulations for senior centers. There's a lot to be done. And so part of it, I think, is going to really depend on how well he is able to get some of that stuff done, because it's one thing to be proactive and even aggressive when it comes to getting out there, whatever it is that people need it. But it's also going to be equally important that somehow there is awareness of the recovery and how that needs to be handled. So for right now, looks like Canada's going to be doing okay. Let us tootle off to our east and take a look at the United Kingdom. How have they done? And sort of how are they going to be doing? So, UK general trajectory, UK general trajectory, UK general trajectory. Interesting. And you saw the way I put those cards back. But the UK also got that Ace of Swords and the Ace of Cups. So what we're talking about here is sort of the slow startup, certainly under Boris Johnson. There was a bit of a, kind of Trumpian attitude, but that definitely shifted into a more reasonable, logical, and scientifically based approach. And it certainly looks as if the UK is, again, also moving forward cautiously and safely. It is the Knight of Cups. So they're moving forward and keeping, I guess, maybe their emotions, their expectations in check. They also are a country that sort of fell into, once there was some clarity on how serious this was, they got moving and they did the things that needed to be done. Certainly in England, I think that it was helpful that Prince Charles came down with COVID, that Boris Johnson came down with COVID, because I think that in some ways that clarified for people that the virus doesn't really care about your age or your sex or your religion or your political affiliations or who you love. And so I think that experience sort of allowed people sort of en masse almost to kind of wake up and go, okay, no, this is serious and we have to start actually paying attention. So going forward, again, they have some really nice strengths in place. So it looks like they're going to be able to, as a country, as a union, are going to be able to move forward. Again, they have taken the lessons that they learned and they have incorporated them to make them part of their strength, part of that going forward and moving forward in a healthy and safe way, and in a way that actually helps, of course, with recovery, not only mental, physical, health-wise recovery, but economic recovery. And it looks as if this Justice card is interesting here because it feels as if there has been a balancing, and there will continue to be a smart, just a smart, informative path forward, so that starts can start, and hopefully they will not have to reverse course. Very interesting energy I'm sort of moving into here. It feels like the summer is going to go relatively smoothly. I'm not seeing any big hiccups or really upticks in the cases sort of exploding in that part of the world. It feels like in the fall, again, we are going to see in the Northern Hemisphere, just let's say it that way, in the Northern Hemisphere, somewhere between, October and January, every country is going to sort of get hit again. It's simply going to be a matter of how prepared they are for that next hit, what they've learned from the past one, and the course corrections they're making. And hopefully those countries are stockpiling the stuff now that they are going to need going forward. So it looks as if the UK also is coming together, and it feels like there's, sort of a partnership. There's collective and cohesive agreements for the most part about how things should be handled, and that is a really good thing. And so by and large, the citizens of the United Kingdom absolutely can have a fair degree of confidence in the fact that their government is on the job and doing what needs to be done. Nobody's ever going to agree 100% with how one government or one country handles things. But again, it looks like they're not going to be in bad shape. So that was the star that jumped out. So now we're going to move to the Southern Hemisphere, and we're going to check in on Australia and just see how they're doing. So, Australia is interesting because they were able to really, really get a grip on this super fast, and their numbers were very low, and they were able to maintain that. Now, it's going to be interesting if the cards tell us if now that they are into their winter season, if that cooler weather is in any way creating an increased situation. And, as you all know, I live in Canada. I do not get to watch the Australian morning news, nor do I watch the news out of the UK. So in some ways, I'm sort of flying a little bit blind here. But, that's where you just trust the cards to do your talking for you. And look at that. That thing is just determined to jump out. Okay, so we're going to leave that there because obviously it wants to talk about the promise of going forward. It wants to talk about the fact that Australia did a really terrific job, and they have every reason to be hopeful that things are going to stay relatively calm in their country. So let's just see what we see, shall we? Australia, general trajectory, Australia, general trajectory, Australia, general trajectory. Let's take a look, shall we? Okay, so a strong and full-throated reaction from the government allowed that country to really, really keep the damage, to a minimum. They did not escape unscathed. But it feels as if, because Australia reacted so quickly and frankly so firmly, they were the ones who were actually able to save all of the hundreds of thousands of lives that Trump is trying to take credit for in the United States. Like, they actually had a really good and effective response. And so they're moving forward, and it looks as if there's nothing at all to indicate, absolutely nothing, to indicate that throughout this winter season, things are going to get like crazy or out of hand. It really doesn't feel that way. I mean, look at, you've got that star that would not stop jumping out. You have the 6 of Wands, so that's like a victory card. You have the 10 of Cups, which is about happiness and contentment and satisfaction. And so certainly that is energy that is definitely hopeful for going forward. And again, it's the same thing. It was like, in its own way, Australia sort of took control of their own destiny. They didn't leave the health and well-being of the country as sort of a spin on a wheel. They took control, and they kind of created the environment going forward that they wanted to. And so there's that Ace of Swords. And so it appears with, a continuing firm resolve, they're going to be able to continue to, do what needs to be done to keep people safe. And again, I feel that, economically, there is going to be a recovery there. It's going to be slow. But wow, look at you guys, Australia. You're just like rocking it. So I guess my personal fears that maybe Australia was going to have a bad time during these winter months for them appears to be unfounded. So this is overall what I want to say about these 3 countries. They came together. They handled the situation as best they could. They continued to make adjustments and tweaking things to keep everything moving forward in a way that was safe, was going to keep people healthy. They've done a really good job. Does that mean that they're immune? Absolutely not. Is there going to be another surge? Probably in the fall into the early winter? Yeah, there is. Just nothing I have heard yet or sensed or been told that indicates that, you're clear, you're good. But the wisdom, the guidance, the understanding, the knowledge that they were able to acquire definitely looks as if that is going to serve them really, really well going forward. So those countries look like they're going to be kind of okay, I think. So we're just going to shuffle these because I want to take a quick little look at what's going on with the re-election campaign, Trump's re-election campaign. What is going on with, the GOP? How is Trump reacting to the fact that the courts decided, that the country does not have a king and that the rule of law applies to everyone? Day by day, this guy is becoming an even bigger national disgrace. He is so unhinged. He is clearly incapable of taking on any new information. He is incapable of changing what he thinks because, of course, he thinks what he thinks is absolutely accurate. So let's just take a quick peek because this has been yet another really tough week for Trump. And, they're going to continue to get tough, okay? That's just the bottom line. So here we go, quick. Trump, election, government. Trump, election, government. Trump, election, government. Okay. So as of right now, There's a great deal of anxiety around him. People are getting very, very nervous. They're starting to make comments or leak information, but some of the comments that are coming out are really not undeserved, but harsh. And this is from his own people. This is from his own team. So they are experiencing a great deal of anxiety or stress, mostly because they can't seem to get this guy to focus, to stop believing conspiracy theories, to stop believing the kind of fantasy that rolls around in that brain of his. So they're having a lot of trouble. And, you know, it just seems like every time they try to pick up speed or shift the message, it really does just sort of backfire. So they're continuing to assess. You know, the Trump White House is assessing, the re-election campaign is assessing, frankly, the GOP members are assessing. But ultimately, they're going to be walking away. They are not going to have the success that they would like to have because, frankly, judgment is going to be rendered. And slowly, but surely, all of those people who really deluded themselves into believing that they were somehow inoculated from the realities. Those people who thought, oh, it's okay that I'm a complete novice when it comes to politics. It's okay that really Buddy over there was only really good at being a snake oil salesman. But somehow we know better than all the people who actually understand politics and understand how it works. And because of that literal arrogance, the victory is not going to be theirs, okay? The world is watching. The world is on track to do, what can be done, support you in any way we can without interfering, of course, in your elections to help dislodge Trump from the White House. And again, it very much feels like it doesn't matter. All of the hard work is not going to make this better. It's really not. Right now, he is angry. He's upset with the government. He thinks that everybody and their dog is in the deep state. Everybody is a Democrat who hates him. Everybody hates him. Nobody likes him. He's being picked on and on and on. And you know what? For any of us who have had the experience of listening to a cranky, sick, whiny child who just will not stop, amplify that by a magnitude of 100, and you have literally what is going on with Trump behind the scenes. He's just having pity party after pity party, and in between his pity parties, he is raging and ranting and carrying on because reality is starting to penetrate the illusion. Is it going to be enough to shatter the illusion? No, it's not. He's going to stay in this bubble right up until people are casting their ballots, okay? But it's not going to get him anywhere, right? People get really tired of listening to people whining and blaming everybody else. Everybody else is at fault. He didn't do anything. He's perfect. It gets old really fast. And after 3 years, it is so beyond old. And so continue to expect a lot of communications, a lot of information coming out, stuff that he says that is just outrageous. And investigative reporting, more stuff leaking. Continue to look for it, watch for it. It's going to continue to unfold. And again, there's going to be more information found out about his partnerships. And some of them maybe they were secret. And they're not going to be secret for much longer. Okay, So thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed our summer pet parade. Have a great weekend. Take care. Enjoy the sun. Clear your head. Maybe take a walk. Spend some time in nature. Find a good movie or TV show to laugh at. And remember, step by step, day by day, together, we're going to get through this. Until next time, take care. Be well. Bye.